the idea of saying black people don't like each other. What is the cause of us not accepting who we are? Why is it that we as the black people, we don't accept even our hair, we don't accept our own languages, we don't accept our food, yes, our being, we don't want to,
we don't embrace
the identity,
who we are, yes. Our identity.
Why do we?
Yeah, I will always put the blame on the white hand. When I say the white hand, I'm referring specifically to the West. Here, I believe, and if you go back to the history, you'll find that all the African people were staying here together in harmony. They never had a clash with each other. But ever since the white hand had interfered with our lifestyle as Africans. Check now. When I'm going to the shop, I think of those big names. I'm going to buy the
Nike, Adidas.
We don't have those. Where is Amamfen brand? Where we don't have those things. And even the names of our places have been named by the people which we don't even know. There is King Williamstown. King William, we don't know him in Africa. Queenstown, who's that queen? Maybe it's Queen Elizabeth or Queen Victoria, we don't know. Yet we had our own kingdoms in Africa, and these kingdoms were related to each other. They were respecting each other. We never fought until the white hand interfered and planted the mentality that we cannot be on the same level. We are fighting now for the supremacy. That's what makes us to hate each other. Even in families, there is that brother who's able when it comes to financial stability. So that one is not taking himself as an equal to his brothers, sisters. If there's something to be done here, we're going to say we're still waiting for Albert. Albert is still in town, so we cannot take any decision without that.
So for me, based on your question, I will go in a different route to say that we are the problem again on ourselves. Mm-hmm. Number one, once you know something, you know something that you don't know before, and then you question what you know. Once you question what you know, you realize that you are being robbed. But once you know that you are being robbed, what is important to you now is to transform yourself to the right direction, because you already know the stage of the problem. We know the stage of the problem, but now let's be honest, here and there we are ignorant, and at the same time, as Baba Solomon said, we now in that level of supremacy level whereby we want to be regarding ourselves as a same white position standard, because what we are living for now, because we are competing in a level that we want to look like white people. We are not competing level that we want to
be ourselves,
that African status of ourselves as a black people, because we lost the black identity level. We lost it. We are no longer having the black identity.
So our last question is saying, what do we do to improve from where we are to be better people as Africans, to be responsible in areas of our health system, our economy, and our political lifestyle? What do we do?
First of all, it begins with us. To that, what do we do? It begins with us to realize what is needed to be done as a black people of Africa. We need now to have this conscience of knowing that we are wrong or we are right. So once you know that you are wrong and right, you start to think now, how do I start to establish something that is going to be tangible or to be productive for the sake of what call it African development? Because we are not interested now to have that capacity now to look forward to say let's start our own thing. For instance, Let me get an example. Let's start to answer the question. Let's start our own thing as a black people. Let's not always copy something that we don't understand, because we are copying everything we're doing. We are copying. That's why we don't have what we call African development. There's no result of our own. For instance, we have people who so-called accountants, lawyers, doctors. All those people are black people, right? So now we need to do that capacity on our African level, not in the European level. So one of the point that I would put in you is that it begins with you, begins with actually us, the whole African black people.
The change begins with you.
For example, what is going on in Burkina Faso is a start of the reality. What is going on in Mali and in Niger is a start of the reality. What was started in Zimbabwe was the start of the reality that indeed African people need to manage themselves
and accept their or our Africanness.
Yes.
The thing, we are in denial that we are blacks. If we want to accept or embrace our blackness and be proud of being black people, not to imitate. You get the point?
For example, in his point, now we want to be yellow in our skin. Some of our people, they want to be yellow. They use things that to yellow their skin.
It's better.
Yeah, because of what he's saying. Because we're not proud of ourselves. Because we believe that to be beautiful, we need to be part of a certain group of the people who came with their own sort of culture, story to us, and then we buy it. For instance, in terms of the constitution, let's talk about constitution now, but not too much. South Africa, when they started to conduct a constitution of 1994, after the election, because there were teams that were sent outside South Africa to go to look to have a look to other other countries' constitutions. If you read the constitution of South Africa, it's a mix of America and Canada and Britain. So now let's go back to Africanism. Why in the first place that panel, they were not interested to go to our traditional leaders based on the history of traditions to say we are the panel from the government. As we are starting a rebel nation, we would like to have a consultation with you traditional leaders based on the constitution, because we were on the process now to design or to draft a new constitution of the Republic of South Africa, right? Why we didn't include the traditional in the first place? Because we were traditional, right? We were not a sort of political maneuver that we are today. We were traditional. Things were done through traditional level. There were laws that were based on the tradition, that were
based on Ubuntu.
Yeah, were there before before the light. Because the light means being educated now. You think you know things, but you don't know the roots of the thing that you know. So one of the things that are killing Africa, you cannot run away to who you are and then adopt something you don't know and you practice it as it is in your own, and then you think that life will be normal.
You can excel.
Yeah. South Africa, if you know, we are failing because we adopted too much Western theories than African theories.
So you are saying, the question is saying, what should we do? It says we should try to build platforms that educate people about
if you hear me out, I'm saying that based on the question, if we can be sort of African people who build things on our own capacity as African people, it's easy for us to go forward. But now we are adopting too much a theoretical style from the Westerns, and now it becomes difficult to us now. That's why we have clash sometimes. Because you go to a traditional leader, for instance, example, you talk about transformation, but you never include him, because you need to know that in that palace there is a ways of ruling things or managing things. So I want that to be part of the position of the republic, of any African republic. You cannot say that you win when you are a government. That's why in other in UK they call the prime minister. They don't have a president. Prime minister is under the monarch,
king.
We have our own traditional kings in Africa, right? Those kings were vital in their time before they were corrupted.
Were top.
Yeah, they were corrupted by the same white settlers who came in Africa. Because remember, you were corrupted. Our ancestors of the time, they were corrupted by the system of the white settlers to Africa. So that's why now
the queen came and created her favorites amongst the kings of Africa. When maybe you were the legitimate king,
yes,
they dethrone you and put someone and give the certificate to this one saying that you are the king, legitimate king,
and automatically there is war.
Yes, it's called. And now there will be that war clash amongst that royal house because they know who is supposed to be the king.
It's true. It's true about
so they do it knowingly that there is a war that they're creating.
To the extent that many kings or many chiefs lost their
titles and their seats.
Yes, they lost.
This because
they still fight.
You see.
Umuelo Nongonyan is one of those people who fought for his.
Yeah.
After it has been taken for a long time, they are coming from the royal house and strong one, but he had to fight to go to the court of laws in order to be reinstated. Am I telling lies?
No, you're not lying.
Yeah.
So they were just causing havoc so that people will remain fight.
Yes.
And that thing is deliberately brewed so that by the time we are still busy here fighting, trying to sort out these, they think about other strategies. How can they create another animosity on top of what we are sitting with, so that we sit here going nowhere, being confused of what is it that we're going to do because you are deep into a problem.
Should our schools introduce African education?
Yes, I think that would be this situation. To the extent that the kids that are at school, they don't embrace history as a study. They say, well, you tell us about that. Yeah.
Because it's true, because kids of today, they don't know anything about the history. And
if you don't know your background now, how are you going to know
where you are going?
Where you are going? How are you going to reach the destination? If you talk about this to her or him, it's going to which destination now? Is there anywhere that we are going to? And another thing that I'm not happy with is to speak their indigenous languages. In the taxi from Fishhook to Maspumelele Township, they speak English like English people. The fact that there is this adjective like, it means that you are not. You speak like a European.
So, what I'm saying...
Why don't I say you speak English? You speak like an
so
English
it
person.
means like
meaning that like, you're not 100%
that person.
Yeah. Once you use okay.
So meaning now, what is important to us? Once you become a teacher, for instance, you have to do your research or assignment on the African values. You mustn't always rely on the European values, because even us, when we were small, they taught us about the superpowers of Europe. But the African history they put, but not much.
Just
African history. African nationalism were not that much.
Yeah, the most history was
European history.
Yes.
Too much.
And they were forced to remember the names.
You know why? They wanted to make sure
and the
that
dates.
We don't. We must be confused in a sense that we mustn't go forward. We mustn't know what has happened, because even the writers of the books that is written there in schools, it's not written by us. Some of the most is written by them. Even those who are starting now to like Otadu Sanjo, to bring the closer grammars and then
it's not yet.
It's not
there where we are supposed to be. That is English. That is taught. That Xhosa is Xhosa there. That grammar is Greek, where they talk of morphology. Yes. We don't have those things, and we ain't gonna go anywhere with those things.
So meaning that these organizations like art and culture, they're not doing the right thing, because ever since we've got these ministries which is called art and culture, what are they teaching? Because are they teaching a real culture and real art for Africans, or
I will say they are trying, because now when I'm talking to you, Stety, as my brother whom I know that is coming from just beyond Limpopo, I know that there's a group of Amaxhosa that are there. So that history now is not only a hearsay. When it is a hearsay, something that you are not sure of, just we've been told about. There are people who went there, and to find out if there are Amaxhosa in Zimbabwe, and their tradition is still that one. Things that we share with those Amaxhosa. There's a group called Ikamago from Etujwa. That group went to Zimbabwe. Not only to Zimbabwe, they are touring the whole Africa, but they started with Zimbabwe, and they are going all over
because they want to know more about Africa, other part of Africa.
There are Ngunis, there are Nguni people that are in Tanzania. We know that through research, but we need not to assign a German person, a Portuguese person to do our research.
No.
That's where it went wrong. Even the history, the African history, has been written by Du Bois and other guys. Very few even African writers that have participated in terms of writing our history. So it would be easier for them to, because the time they were engaged in that research, there was a mission they wanted to achieve, which was going to benefit them. So anything they can find in their research, though there is a part in the research that's called ethnic. You need to be ethnical in terms of doing your research, not to change things there. But our history has not been reported as it was supposed to be.
No, Carlos, they hide some areas.
It has been manipulated.
They hide some areas because they are worried about.
It's always in favor of them. Always in favor of them.
So, as an African people, we need to love ourselves. Because once you love yourself, it means you start your own thing. We grew up
2 minutes left.
Yeah, we grew up knowing that the only people that are smart are white people. We grew up like that. Even when you meet a white person those days, you know that person is better than me. The only thing that we know.
You humble yourself.
Yeah. So you always like this. You always respect a white person. So during the struggle now, we started to, as they are elders telling us, what is going on, we start, because even Africans, the moment we know that Afrikaners people are the one who are ruling South Africa at that period, and then they are oppressing black people, we started to hate it. Afrikaners speaking in the language African.
Yes, African.
That's why some of us who didn't speak Afrikaans, we speak now because we are creative. But during that period, we do not want to do anything to do with Afrikaans because we're angry with African not speaking.
76, 86, till
we're angry. But now we are creative enough now as an African, some of us, to know that okay, let's not be angry. Let's just,
to the extent that we don't learn.
Yeah, we don't learn. Let's learn from what they know. Then we transform as an African way. Because same apply the term, the campaign is always in the mouth of other people. They say, let's decolonize Africa, education of Africa. Let's decolonize it.
Yeah.
Because meaning decolonize it means state. When you decolonize education, you bring education that have African values. Because we want people
that carry more African values.
Yeah. So we want people, black people, to be engineers based on our training and research and understanding. We don't want to be saying that after 4 years of a degree or at 4 years of a diploma, they tell you that you're still a student. A student after 4 years, you see a student. You have to go a process of another 4 years to be able now to be a professional.
Artisan, maybe.
So those, even to be an accountant, to be a business consultant, to be an HR practitioner, you follow the process. Why you have to go to school to study 4 years or 3 years? Then after 3 years you graduated for your diploma or degree. They said you must go for a test of 4 years to be able now to be a HR or to be an educator.
How old will you be?
1 minute.
How old will you be then when you finish?
So now we need to transform, to remove that kind of mindset, to bring something that is different, so that our people can be able now to do things on their own.
Okay, coming back to that question, now it seems as if now we're about to come with a resolution. What is it that we can do?
We can do
to change the present or the current system of education. It goes back to what we want to do, because when we educate this youth, we will be able to transform them.
Yes.
And when we talk of the social transformation, we talk of these offsprings, the youth.
So that the one
if we change them,
carry.
We're gonna win.
Yeah, because we need to make sure that they are the one who are equipped more than the older generation.
Yeah.
Because the time is passing now. So it is their time now to be able to look at Kenya. I like what Kenya has done last year to the president when he passed that finance bill. So the whole Kenyan citizens come out in numbers to say no is enough.
Spoke with one word.
This tax bill is going to drain poor people in this country. So same apply to Africa situations. The youth of Africa should stand together, not to compete to each other. Because now if you notice, African people are competing each other. Competing each other. They say my country is better than your country. My country will educate more than your country. Those things are killing Africa also.
That promotes this.
Because the moment I believe that I'm better than Zimbabweans, and Zimbabweans also come to say we are better than South Africans. Where are we going? Nowhere. No social transformation will be resulted to or be effective. Yeah. Because we are concerned about minor things. Because now every time my country, it's like I'll be laughing sometimes. Some people will say in my country, but I will ask my brother, my sister, you are not in your country. You are in this South African country. You are part of us. Even some people will say your people. Talk to your people. Don't call my people because you are part of our people, of my people, because you are among us. So which means we are not, it's not my people, it's our people.
You are with us now.
We are together. Remember, we are black people. So you cannot say just because I'm speaking Xhosa, you're speaking Zulu.
Trying to exclude.
No, don't exclude
the element of exclusion now, wanting to say South Africa, if maybe I'm in Tanzania, in my country, we used to do things like this. That leads us to nowhere.
Yes.
It goes back to a proverb that says, beware that the people that you're trying to follow are going nowhere.
Yeah.
So we need to have a direction.
Yes, because we can't continue to be like this. Because once you know, like I used to say, once you